What's going on, my video family? How y'all doing? What's up? It's Knowledge by Nikki, your girl with 1K. That's N-I-K-I. You all, I don't care how many times I say that, y'all. Keep on putting 2 Ks in my name. I'm going to keep saying it until you get it right. All right, I am here today, and it is a wonderful 52, I think, degree day in Chicago. Who knew? 52 in Chicago, y'all, on December 2nd or whatever day it is. Amazing, guys. We are so excited to not have snow and not have ice and bitter temperatures and all that good stuff, guys. I am here today because I believe wholeheartedly that at the end of the year, really before the end of the year, I call it the last quarter of the year, I believe that we should be in deep restructuring, re-evaluating, reinventing, just everything. I believe everything needs to be looked at, done over, fixed, tweaked. I don't care what it is. I believe wholeheartedly that I don't believe in New Year's resolutions. I don't believe in that. I never cared about that. But I do believe that it's something fresh about what January 1st brings to our lives. It's something fresh that we start feeling like, oh, okay, you know, I got a second chance or a do-over possibility. And that is true. You know, I feel that way. I know you all feel that way. We go into these seasons talking about what next year ain't going to be like last year. And, you know, we have all these little sayings, but you all know, if you watch me regularly, you know I read a lot. And I started reading a book, and this is it. I actually talked to you all about this book last week when I was talking about my coaching, and I was talking about all of y'all that claim y'all want to coach. And okay, that's cool. That's fine. And if you all want to know about that, y'all go back and look at that. All right. But this is what you see this. This is part of the Harvard Business Review. They have like the 10 best books. That's why you see the 10 on it. The 10 must reads by Harvard Business Review, and this is one of them. I actually have all 10. They come in a nice set too. They're pretty. One is blue, one is orange, one is yellow, one is green. But anyway, you see this here. Don't look at all that, but look, you see this on managing yourself. Let me tell you what I have experienced personally and professionally. I see it all the time, and it is the biggest issue that I see in people's growth. When you are telling someone else what to do, or when you believe that that is your purpose. I'm a coach now. My job is to tell other people what to do. What I find is that something happens when you are not fixing yourself. Something happens when you are not really fully managing yourself and being accountable. And I call this time of year, let me give the last quarter a name. I call it the months of self-discovery. And what that basically means is, in this time of managing yourself, you have to start, first of all, being honest with yourself. You have to be honest about your strengths, your weaknesses, the things you're good at, the things you suck at, the problems that you either initiated or caused or contributed to, or whatever it is. Let me give you an example. And I'm going to be very transparent here. When I was younger, I grew up with a present but not present father. He was physically around somewhere, but he wasn't present emotionally, and he was just not the depiction of a good father. And that's cool. We cool today now, so don't get me wrong. But let me tell you what happened. I really started to put a lot of my energy into hating him for my mother. I'm like, you know what? I'm watching him do mom not so great, and I'm watching her decline and go through these bouts of depression and just a host of things. And I found myself putting my attention on not liking him because of what she was going through. Because I actually realized I didn't really not like him. I didn't like him for her. And I know some of you all can attest to what I'm saying, and I'm going somewhere with this. So I found myself at about 25 years old, having this just awful hatred for him. And I remember at 20, I had this huge 25th birthday party. I had a shindig, y'all, for my 25th birthday party. That was 25 years ago. And I remember something happening. at that 25th year. And I remember me sitting down and asking myself, and this is what I mean about managing yourself, when you have to sometimes sit down and talk to yourself and ask yourself, I remember saying, why do I hate him? What do I hate him for? Why? And let me tell you what I was able to answer myself and say. I said, first of all, everything that he's done to her, he's done to everyone. It wasn't even about her. He did it to his mom. He did it to his child. He was the same way with friends. It was who he was, guys. And I realized that I had started because I didn't have good management over myself and my own emotions and understanding what I was feeling and thinking and just acting out based off of some other force. I found my life going in a direction that was speared from hatred of something. I found myself making decisions, even about men and dating, that were spun out of this feeling that I didn't fully understand. And even back then, I was telling people what to do. But I had not figured out how to manage myself and my own emotions and figure out where this thing was coming from. So, to fast track the story, after I asked and answered those questions, I realized, I said, you know what? As much as I wish these things were not true, guys, they weren't personal. What he was doing was who he was. He didn't discriminate over who he did it to. He did it to this one and that one and that. It didn't really matter. It was who he was. And I remember making this statement. This was at my first cycle of what I call self-discovery and trying to figure out, why do I feel like this? Why am I doing this stuff? And it was at 25 years old. And I remember saying to myself, as much as I hate that he's made these decisions to do X, Y, Z, she had a choice. She had a choice. Like you have a choice. Like I have a choice. I remember sitting down talking to my own mother about, I will no longer hate him for you. Because the same decision that she eventually made by leaving and divorcing, the circumstances were exactly the same. She just got tired. And I had to realize at that moment that no matter how long we, us, me, you, stay in something, we all have choices. And I cannot, in managing myself, take on the opinions of other people about other people, or the opinions of, or the emotional feelings about certain situations that I have no real point of reference with, or no real connection to, or not even a real understanding of. So I remember that being the first time that I started what I call true self-discovery. And I remember I invited him to that 25th party, and we had a ball. And that was literally the start of our adult relationship unto this day. Because I was like, I hate him. Why? I don't really hate him. I just was taking on other people's things. And let me tell you what I see a lot of us doing in this industry and just in life, period. In managing ourselves, as I'm getting ready to walk through what some of these points in this book is about, you have to recognize, and you have to first start with that self-discovery in realizing what is really yours, your feelings, your opinions, your everything, and what has been put on you by families, by your friends, by the culture that you sit in, what has been kind of embraced or embedded in you based off of the opinions of external people. That is the first place self-discovery takes place. And you start realizing, I don't even think like this. This been pumped in my brain since I was little, but it's not even really my opinion. So in that journey of self-discovery and doing, this is the book I'm talking about, guys, and learning how to truly manage yourself, the first thing you got to do is get honest. You got to get honest about the things you really feel, the things you don't feel. You cannot take on other people's opinions of other people or things or situations. You have to start spending time learning what you really like, what you really don't like, etc., etc., etc. So let me go into, and I want to talk about this real quick first. I talked about this a little bit last week before I go into the points. Tony Robbins says something, and it's actually in his website. And I love this statement. I've taken it from him, guys. He said, where your attention goes, your energy follows. When I say, I've heard him say that, and I've actually read it on some of his things 1,000 times, but I don't think I really internalized it until about a month ago when I read it. And so I'm going to give you some of the pointers. I'm talking to my salon people. Listen to some of this stuff. When you talk about where your attention goes, your attention is governed in what you talk about. It's governed in what you listen to. It's governed in the places that you always tend to want to go. Wherever you put your attention, wherever your mind seems to wander towards or focus on, or this is kind of, and I call it an intellectual experience. Whatever you start internalizing mentally, putting into your mind is where your energy is going to follow. The things you put into your mind start becoming a part of your subconscious. And as your subconscious starts to absorb these different things, you will consciously find yourself doing things that you didn't even really plan on doing. You like, how many of us, let me take this. How many of us listen to some of these songs, and y'all know some of these songs are straight gutter. You like good. Sometimes you have to listen to them like, did they just say what I think they just said? I mean, they are raunchy, right? How many of y'all have found yourself hearing this gutter song forever, and then you found yourself singing it? You found yourself singing a song that you don't even like. You like, I can't believe I'm actually singing that song. That song has pierced your soul. It is embedded in your brain. This song is now, it's part of your subconscious, which now you find yourself consciously singing it, which depending on what the song is saying, you'll consciously find subconsciously finding yourself thinking it, understanding it, accepting it, doing X, Y. This is what starts to happen. Now, let me give you something I know we all can relate to. Those of y'all that's hairstylists, y'all give me a heart, or barber. Y'all give me a heart, or give me something up for my industry. Listen to this. How many of you have a client? I got a TV in my shop. I am a TV junkie. I absolutely, unequivocally love television. I do. How many of you all got a client and you got a real good movie on or something that's good on the news or whatever, and this will show you how where your attention is, your energy, meaning your body, your actions will follow. If a client is trying to watch TV and you doing their hair, I don't care what you tell them. I don't care how much you push their head down. If they keep looking up like this, what's going to happen? Their body is going to follow where their eyes are traveling. It's a natural reaction. Their body is going to continue to go where their eyes are traveling. And you getting frustrated. And you like, if you don't keep your head down, these are small examples of showing you wherever your attention goes, your body and everything you physically do will follow that in any way. Let me go to another one. Have you all ever had a client? The barber that cuts my hair, my husband cuts it, then I have another barber when I can't get my husband to do it. He will not let you talk on your phone. He absolutely will not let you talk on your phone while you're getting your hair cut. He's not going to let you do it. Because how many of y'all have been trying to do somebody's hair, cut it, style it, whatever, and they try to be on their phone and they're like this all the time. And you pulling them back and they like this and you pulling them back. Then they'll try to do this with the phone, but eventually their arm gets tired, so it falls like this. This is a small depiction again of where your attention goes, your energy will follow, okay? Then let's talk about, have you ever been in a parking structure? In Chicago, we have all of these parking structures that go straight up. So we round. That's all we do. Which is great because in some of y'all cities, y'all ain't got enough parking. But I remember asking a lady one day, I was riding around a parking structure and I just always have these teachable moments. And I remember asking her, watching the cement as I went around. It's all kind of paint on there. Just every color paint. Red, black, green, yellow. And I asked her, I said, are people running into the thing? What's up? She said, when people focus on that wall while they're going around, they will automatically hit the wall. She said, when you're going around, you have to focus away from the wall to keep you going in that natural circular pattern. She said, if you look at that one, I want y'all to try. You drive your car through one of those parking structures and you just keep looking at that cement wall, chances are you're going to hit it. Because where your attention is, where you put your attention, where you put your words, where you put all the things that you are constantly thinking about, and where you put that, your body will follow, your actions will follow. It is the truth. Now let me go into some deeper stuff here, y'all. People, those that like talking about, those that like harping on things that happened that were bad, those that like talking about a tragedy or something in your life that happened that was bad, or something somebody did to you, those that like talking about that stuff over and over and over and over again, let me tell you something. You will find yourself talking about a bad event. You will find yourself talking about people. You will find yourself talking about these counterproductive things that though they may be real, the more you talk about them, they will set you back. The more you give them life, the more, I don't care how bad it was, the more you talk about the thing that got you maybe in this situation, the more you will find yourself unable to have the energy to push yourself to get out of it. This is something, and I'm talking about way past just what God said about it. I'm going to go into that too, the spiritual aspect of the things that we speak. It's the truth, y'all. People ask me, those that know some of my story back when I was married to my first husband, and oh Jesus, it was amazing. Okay. All the stuff that happened. And those that ask me, how did you manage to get past so many things? You know what I told them? Because I didn't spend any energy constantly talking about it. It wasn't nothing to talk about. It was what it was. I spent more time trying to fix it. When people still today will ask me, how is my ex-husband? I have no idea, but let me tell you what I do. This will show you how I am very conscious about where I put my words. I'll say, oh, he's great. Mind you, I ain't talked to him in forever. But you know what I do? When you start doing that, people start asking you about stuff, whether they really know why they're asking you or not. And you start saying definitive, powerful things like, oh, they're wonderful. Even if you haven't talked to them, let me tell you, conversation is over. It ain't nothing else to talk about, because we're not going to put our attention. We're not going to say, girl, I don't know what he doing, where, because now guess what's happened? Now our attention will start to shift into talking about this thing that is counterproductive, that is no longer a working force in your life. But if you keep giving it life, if you keep talking about it, if you keep harping on what it was and what it wasn't, and trust me when I say, you will notice your energy starts shifting. You will notice you were feeling great. Now you don't feel so great. Now, we have got to understand that this is the truth. God said it. Tony Robbins said it, and I'm saying it. This is the truth. If you want to talk about people, let me tell you something. I used to see that phrase all the time, and I know some of you all have heard about it. It talked about great mind. No, let me say it the way it says it. Small minds talk about people. Average minds talk about things, and great minds talk about ideas. Let me tell you something, for small-minded people, that every piece of your conversation is talking about people or somebody who, if they got issues, pray for them. If they did something to you, we gonna pray for them still, but we ain't gonna talk about them, because the more and more you talk about them, whether you know it or not, you're giving them and that situation power. And your body, physically, mentally, you will start to find yourself shifting your actions. Maybe you were in a good place and you've been talking about this person so much, and you run into them and all of a sudden you got an attitude. But I spend so much time not talking about the people and the stuff that by right I probably could have, that when I seen them, I was like, oh, hey, how you doing? I forgot I ain't thought about what I'm supposed to be mad at them for. I don't even remember what I'm supposed to be mad about, because I didn't give it no energy. I'm speaking to people that shocked that I'm even speaking to, because I ain't thought no more about it. I ain't gave it no life. I ain't spent no time talking about it. I didn't spend time making sure everybody know what somebody did to me. I don't care, because it will alter where my energy goes. And then if it's bad enough, you'll find yourself getting set back. You'll find yourself falling into bouts of possible depression. You'll find yourself constantly, your energy will start to travel in that direction. So let's talk about people. Let's talk about y'all that want to talk about things. You know what talking about things to do? Things will have you broke. You sit around people and all you want to talk about is what y'all gonna buy and shopping and what y'all gonna do with this stuff that y'all just bought, and we gonna go buy this. Let me tell you what'll happen. You will find yourself constantly thinking about buying. Then before you know it, you done went to the store, bought something you can't afford, because your energy will follow that. I'm telling you, you keep talking about, oh girl, them shoes is beautiful. Oh girl, that bag is beautiful. Men like electronics. My husband's electronics junkie. You keep talking about things, you will find yourself jacking your credit cards up, because that's all you're talking about. All you're talking about is stuff. So you will find yourself, your energy, your body will start going to the mall. We ain't got to go to the mall no more. You be on Amazon, you be on Wayfair, you be on whatever, some Best Buy, you be online buying stuff you don't need, because your attention is only focused on things. Your energy gonna follow. You're gonna find yourself buying a whole lot of things that you probably can't afford, and now you got other problems, right? Because where the attention focuses, or where it goes, that's where they talk about focused energy. Your energy, your body, your actions will follow. Now let's talk about ideas. The one thing I love about being around people with ideas, and let me say this, I was talking to a lot of people yesterday about this. It was that day of having these conversations, and I told all these people, about 5 of them, I am so excited that I have been inducted into the world of business. Let me tell you why. When you get into a real business arena, I mean where people really doing business. I'm talking about investing, real estate, people really running their businesses. That they don't have time or the luxury of spending a bunch of energy talking about people or things. I love the business world that I've been inducted into. And you know what else, y'all? They don't care if you're black. They don't care if you're white. They like anybody who want to play the same game that they play. They love that. Come on, you want to play the game? You want to play the game of Monopoly with me? Let's do this. They love like-minded people. They don't care about none of that. It has also been the thing, because I got inducted and I love that world, that has allowed me to be more laser focused on ideas. And I'm telling you, when you focused on ideas, you could care less about a bunch of stuff, because you know stuff just had you broke. You could care less about a whole bunch of people that are totally non-affecting to what you're doing. You don't even care. You like, whatever. When people go talking about it, I think I told you all last week, I was telling my age when I talked about Lucy and Charlie Brown, and when Lucy used to be fussing at Charlie Brown, and after a point he would hear, and then he go, he would just zone out. That's what happens. When you are about ideas and your energy is not even remotely trying to go, or your attention is not trying to focus on a bunch of stuff and a bunch of people, you go, you don't even hear it after a while. And that's what allows us to be great. It is in that space that you truly learn to manage yourself. It is when you are no longer putting your attention on a bunch of insignificant stuff. Because the more you do it, your energy will go towards things that are counterproductive. And then now you got to sit back and you got to be honest with yourself and be like, I got myself into debt because I was focused on this, that, and that, or the culture that I was in was about buying a bunch of stuff. I'm getting ready to talk about that too. This is something that becomes beyond important. I'm going to read y'all some stuff real quick. You know what? I knew the Bible had several scriptures on the power of the tongue, but God, I didn't know it had these many, y'all. Listen to this. This is what it's so many. I'm just going to read a few. In the book of Proverbs, which is my absolute favorite book. Now, this is I think this is the some version I ain't never heard of called the Young something version. I ain't never heard of this version. But anyway, here are 17 things. I'm not going to read all 17, but here are 17 things that the Bible says about using about using and the repercussions of misusing this power, which is talking about your tongue. Proverbs 13:3. Listen, whoever guards his mouth preserves his life. Did y'all hear that? I forgot what version this is. Whoever guards his mouth preserves his life. That means your attention, and that means the things you talk about, things, people, you'll preserve your life. Keep talking about people and things and see what happens. He who opens wide his lips comes to ruin. That means keep talking about stuff that ain't productive and see what happens. Ephesians 4:29. Let no corrupt talk come out of your mouth, but only such as is good for building up. Y'all hear that? As fit for the occasion, and it may give grace to those that hear. When I got you can't even sit in my chair. When I do have 4 days a month, you can't even sit in my chair and talk about people. I don't want to hear that. We gonna pray for them. That's what we gonna do. We ain't gonna spend no time dogging them out. We're not. I will tell a client in a minute. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear it. I ain't letting you talk. You won't talk to me about it. Now, I can't tell you what to talk about, but you won't be talking to me. You'll be talking by yourself. I don't want to hear that. Because all that is doing is causing us to have a negative opinion on these people. I have seen so many people who have had no experience with certain people, and they all of a sudden will start disliking a person or hating a person because they done sat in an environment where all that person has done or all the people have done is just talked about all of what they call the person's flaws and bad things or what they supposedly did. You got people that literally are turned by that, and then when they get in the person's presence, they don't even speak. What you don't like them for? You don't even know them. Okay? But this is what happens. Then Proverbs 18:19. A brother who has been insulted is harder to win back than a walled city. And arguments separate people like the barred gates of the palace. Y'all hear that? These are just because a lot of our attention span comes in the form of the words that we speak. That's why I'm going into this. A lot of where we put our attention comes into what it comes out of our mouths. Usually whatever is in the heart is going to flow out the mouth in one way or another. Okay? Proverbs 10:20. I ain't going to read all of them. There's a whole bunch of them. The words of a good person are like pure silver, but an evil person's thoughts are worth very little. I'm going to read two more. Proverbs 26:20. Without wood, a fire will go out, and without gossip. Oh, I'm going to highlight that. I'm going to say that again. Proverbs 26:20. Without wood, a fire would go out, and without gossip, quarreling would stop. Did y'all hear what I said? I got to say that one more time, only because I know that is a very big problem with this beauty industry. I'm going to say it again. Proverbs 26:20. Somebody put this up on the screen. I got this on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. I got Proverbs 26:20. Listen to this. Without wood. Y'all hear that? Any of y'all tried to barbecue? And your barbecue go out and you got to throw either you using wood chips or whatever it is that you use. Anybody tried to do that? And then all of a sudden your stuff go out. You got to throw some more in there to rev up the fire, right? Without wood, a fire would go out. And without gossip, quarreling would stop. Amen to that. I ain't got to say nothing else. I ain't even going no further than that. That is because what will happen, that attention that is put on gossiping, on talking about stuff that don't need to be talked about, it will start to alter people's energy, people's actions, the way people treat each other. I have a no gossip policy. And you know what? Let me tell you what's beautiful. Dave Ramsey. I do a lot of things with his Entre Leadership Group. And I happened to go down to Nashville and went down to his studio. And I think this is absolutely magnificent. When I open my suites in July, I'm going to do this. When you walk into this particular building, he has these, I don't even know if you want to call them pictures. They're just huge wall plaques. Huge. I'm talking like 60 by 60 or something because the place is huge. And they have every principle that his company stands for. Family first, righteous living, no gossip. I think is the biggest one up there. I said, wouldn't that be something for us to automatically control people's attention span by making the first thing they see when they walk into our businesses about what we're about? But let me tell you something. In order for that to be so, you got to really be about it. That means that you have to manage yourself, and that means you got to change some stuff, because if you in there gossiping, ain't no need of having no gossip on your wall. Okay? Y'all with me? So this is what I want to talk about, managing yourself. I'm going to talk about these all week. I'm going to read them all, but we only going to kind of talk about one today. When you talk about managing yourself, there are 6 principles that you have to take full responsibility of when you talk about managing yourself. Y'all write these down, or y'all writing, or y'all can just go back and listen to the recording. The first one is, and I'm only going to talk about this one today, you have to create a strategy for your life. I don't care what age you are. I don't care if you 40, 50, 60, 30. Right now, today, I ain't just talking about New Year's resolutions and talking about what's going to happen next year. No. Right now, today, it is your responsibility to create the strategy for the rest of your life. Let me go into something this book says. I'm going to read a little quick paragraph here I got highlighted. The person that wrote this is Clayton M. Christensen. Okay, so these are his words. He talks about in creating strategies for his life. This is what he's observed. Over the years, I've watched the fates of my Harvard Business School classmates from 1979 unfold. I've seen more of them come to reunions unhappy, divorced, alienated from their kids. I can guarantee you that not a single one of them graduated with the deliberate strategy of getting divorced and raising children who they become estranged from, or being unhappy. And yet a shocking number of them implemented that strategy. The reason, this is what he gives as his reason. They didn't keep the purpose of their lives front and center as they decided how to spend their time, their talents, and their energy. How many of us can say that? How many of us, I remember when I got married the first time, and I remember this like it was yesterday. I got married the first time in September of 1992, I believe. And I remember being midway. First of all, let's go back even before I even walked down the aisle. I remember feeling months before the wedding, I shouldn't do this, because there are some things here that I already see ain't right. There are some things here that I already see. Now I'm 21, 2, somewhere in there. I already see there are some things here that are going to be potential issues. But what do? We want to preserve and save face. We didn't spend all this money. We didn't told the whole world what we're going to do. And so I remember on that day, and I had a sizable wedding. I remember walking down the aisle, and I remember midways down the aisle, I remember my feet got kind of tripped up. Not real bad, but enough. It wasn't so much that I was going to fall, but it was a hesitation. You know, the Bible talks about warning comes before destruction. It was a warning that, if I can literally be honest now, it was literally like I was looking at a red light flashing on the other side at the end of that aisle, and somebody saying, "Don't do it." I remember it like it was yesterday. But what do? We do it anyway, because we're concerned about what people think, what people are going to say, saving face, wasting money, all these things. The God is constantly giving us signals and signs and things, letting us know that these may or may not be the right decisions. And as I got older, I remember all of the things that I thought, even before I got married, were going to be a problem, were basically the demise of that marriage. And I couldn't even lie and say I didn't see this coming. Yes, I did. I seen it. But what happens? I decided to put my time into something that I knew when it happened that it wasn't going to work. Even though I stayed married a while, I knew this, that it wasn't going to work the way that God predestined for it to work. I knew that, but I did it anyway. We put our talents into things. We constantly give our talents over to stuff that we know. I have talked and coached many people, probably hundreds of people now. And every time I hear the stories of things that they have went through or things that they even still going through, I always ask them this one question. At any point in this situation, did you know that this was not going to work? I literally, not one single one of them that, because when they usually come to coaching, they being honest, have said to me, it just hit me by the blind side. Every single one of them says that I knew this stuff 10 years ago. I knew this 5 years ago. I saw this before I even did it. Because they're being honest now. They're being honest. So what has to happen when you're managing yourself? You have to start to understand what are the things that literally cause you to make counterproductive decisions. What are those weaknesses? What are those areas of life that cause you to compromise the things that you know ain't right? In managing yourself, you got to be honest about the things that kind of sway you into making decisions that you know ain't that cool, but I'm gonna go with it anyway. In managing yourself, you have to learn that. These are the things that will enable you to create a sound strategy for your life. Now, it doesn't mean that you ain't gonna make no mistakes. It doesn't mean that. Let me go to the next ones before I go a little bit more in that. Number 2, we ain't talking about number 2 today. We just gonna focus on 1, but I'm gonna go through all of them for you. So that was 1. Create a strategy for your life, and I'm gonna elaborate on that a little more. Number 2 is create a culture. You have to be willing to create a culture. That means an environment, an external force of energy, an environment, working, all of that. You have to be willing to create or to allow yourself to be only in an environment that is going to connect with the strategy for your life. There are people even in our families that if we were not related to them, we would not choose them. I don't care what nobody says. You still have a right as to how much time you spend around them. You have that choice. The culture that you find yourself sitting in, that you find yourself, if you're sleeping with the enemy, that you find yourself in at work, that you find yourself in with maybe the family gatherings that you go to, it will literally cause your energy either to be quenched. You'll find yourself leaving these events depressed and depleted, or you'll find yourself leaving these places exhilarated and exciting. That's how you know whether the culture is good or not. How do you feel when you leave? When you leave work and all you feel is tired and disgusted and depressed and depleted, that means that culture ain't good for you. If you find yourself every time you leave a group of people and you feel like you can fly, or you feel like you're on top of the world and you was tired, you ain't even tired no more, that is a culture that is about uplifting who you are and what you about. And I had a girl that said something to me one day, and I'm going to steal her words from me. She said, I don't put myself anywhere that doesn't celebrate me. I said, well, that's a really good statement. She said, if they don't celebrate me, if they can't be okay with who I am and what I'm about, I ain't going. Now, I'm like that today. You ask me to come somewhere, first thing I say is, who gonna be there? Because I ain't going. I have a right to put myself or not. I will get up from a table at an event. If everybody at the table on something I ain't part of, I'm out. I go stand up. I go sit somewhere else. At this stage in life, 50 years old, I refuse to be in a culture that depletes my energy, which will subsequently deplete my actions. I find myself sitting around when I know I got stuff I need to do, but it's because this culture has depleted what it is that I physically need to do. So you got to create a culture for your life, and you got to stand flat-footed on it. You have to allocate your resources. You have to sit down. This is what I want everybody to do right now. Before the first of the year, I want you to sit down and I want you to write down all the resources you have. And resources come in more forms than just money. Resources come in the form of relationships, opportunities, actual tangible assets that you have, money, resources could be in it. Anything that you have that can potentially help you acquire something else, whether it's monetary or create an opportunity, whatever it is, I need you to write that on a piece of paper, because you're going to have to leverage those resources in order to get from here to there. That's what you're going to have to do. So allocate your resources. This one is good, y'all. Avoid marginal mistakes. It didn't say avoid mistakes. You know, my ex-mother-in-law used to always say something. She said if God didn't think we was going to make mistakes, he wouldn't have put erasers on pencils. So I use that statement. You might make a mistake. The key word is marginal. There are some mistakes that the cost of making them is so great that it will literally change your life for the rest of your life. Those are marginal. Committing a crime, having a child, even a lot of times getting married when you know you shouldn't have, okay? That was my marginal era. There are many things. You all know what I mean when I say marginal. I mean those mistakes that you can't just, I don't want to do that no more. No, those mistakes that cost you years from then, making really, really major financial decisions that will keep you in debt for the next 10 years. Marginal mistakes. These are the things that when we make those, it changes the game for us. And now, not to say you still can't come from under it now, but it's going to take you a little longer. It's going to require your physical energy to be totally restructured in another direction. These marginal mistakes can change your life and the lives of people that you're responsible for, okay? Remember the importance of humility. That is so important. I don't care how high you go in your life. I don't care how well you do what you do. As John Maxwell says, there is always somebody holding that ladder you going up. Somebody is holding your ladder. So you got to remember the people that hold your ladder, the people, even though they may not be people you can spend a lot of time with anymore, but they are people that you still have to acknowledge. If it wasn't for them, you would not be able to do what you do or have what you have or be where you are. Somebody got to hold that ladder while you walking up. Somebody got to make sure the ladder, the steps don't break, even though maybe their journey isn't up there with you, but you got to remain humble. And, you know, I hear people say this term, and I'm a little indifferent about it. The term self-made. I've seen it on people's license plates, you know, self-made 1, self-made 2. Is anybody really self-made? I mean, really? Now, you got to do the work now. I tell anybody, I don't care how much people try to help you, give you, do, you got to do the work. But is anybody really self-made? I mean, self-made, ain't nobody had no effect or no input in you getting here but you. Is that I'm a little torn by that term. You all have to hit me up, message me and tell me how you think about it. When I see it, I'm like, are you really self-made? I realize you had to do the work, and you may even have to do 80% of the work, but nobody gets to certain levels of success and nobody helped you along the way. It doesn't happen. Okay? This does not happen. So this is I'm indifferent about that term. I don't know if I totally agree with that term. Okay? And then last but not least, it says choose the right yardstick. Let me tell you what I am grieved by. I get it, but I'm still grieved by it. We have the whole world of reality TV now, and we have the influencers, and we have people that have made their millions via YouTube and via Instagram, and I ain't mad at them. The thing that happens, though, is that this becomes the measuring stick for a lot of people in how they go about doing what they do. It would literally be like Michael Jordan, LeBron James, just name some more of the greats in any type of sport. It would be, now I'm okay with these people being, because I love me some Oprah. I say all the time, I'm gonna be the next Oprah. Now, am I really measuring myself to Oprah at the point where it's a good reach, but at the same token, I got to use the right yardstick. I still have to realize that, Oprah didn't do this in a day. She didn't do it in a month. She didn't do it in a year. There still is some work involved. There's still a process. And what I think is happened with today that is a little different than even my Oprah example is that Oprah didn't skip no steps. Oprah went through this for years and years and years before she got there. But in today's society, you don't really even have to do anything all that great. You just have to learn how to work the system and understand the algorithm and be consistent with your posting and understanding funnels. And you just have to understand how to work that strategy, and you can become this millionaire. You can become this gazillionaire just based off of you actually working the system intelligently. So these have become the measuring sticks for a lot of people today, is that I'm just going to do what they did. I'm just going to learn how to work social media. What matter of fact, I bought these guys, and these are great. I bought these. You see, this is a whole thing, and I just want to know how it go. You see this, a whole thing. It's a bifold. I got one for YouTube. I got one for Facebook. I got one for LinkedIn. And I got one for overall social media. They didn't have one for Instagram. I looked for one. I just want to read them to understand how the algorithm goes. But I am not measuring my success based off of the instantaneous, famous somebody that literally got 1 million followers on YouTube or 10 million followers and now they instantly successful. That is not the right measuring stick. That is not the right yardstick. And I think in today's society, we got people that are using the wrong yardstick, the wrong measuring stick to determine whether they're successful or not. When I think it was Instagram that said they were, I don't know if they said they were going to take away the amount of followers for other people to see. They're only going to have the followers, and I think it was Instagram. They said they were going to take that away, so only the person who actually has the account can see it, because they said that these ideas of who got so many followers and this and that has literally become emotionally disheartening for people. When you go in and you look at, like, I ain't got but 4,000 followers, and especially for the younger generation, they almost feel like they're not doing something right. Like, what am I doing wrong? What? And then you even have people now that will only follow people or will only look at people's pages that already got so many followers. Like, okay, they got 1 million followers. They got 500,000 followers. I need to see what they about. So Instagram has even realized, which is owned by Facebook, they have even realized that this measuring stick has become, as helpful as it is, it also has become destructive. You have people that literally are on the verge of suicide if somebody unfriends them, or on the verge of suicide, especially young people, if somebody puts something on that is counterproductive because, you only got so many followers. I listened to a whole thing they had on TV about why Instagram was going to make this decision. And I'm saying to myself, really? But in the world we live in, this is the measuring stick for a lot of people, is how popular you are in the world of reality TV and social media. And so this can become dangerous, guys. So in creating, this is the one we're going to just talk a little bit more about today. In creating the strategy for your life, you have to make sure you do all these things. You create a culture you can literally grow in. And let me tell you this too. I want to say this about the culture real quick. Not going deep, because we're going to talk about that tomorrow. One thing about the culture that I realize is even more important than the money. In one of John Maxwell's books, it was his earlier books, when I first started reading his books, he talked about someone at one of his companies that wanted to quit because they got a better opportunity somewhere else financially. Now, he gets it. You need the money. But he said this is one thing that he told them, because I think this was in the earlier days when obviously he may have not had the financial resources to pay people like he does now. But he said he made this comment to them, and this was priceless to me. He said he wanted them to understand, I fully understand that you want and you need to make more money. But be careful, because here you are in a culture that is about bringing you up, that is about celebrating who you are, that is totally into your productivity, that is totally into encouraging you as a person to be better, do better, have better. You are in an environment that literally supports every dream that you have. He told them, be careful, because you can get in a culture, in an environment that even though they paying you more, they literally zap every ounce of hope of your dream. They are not in support. You have companies now that if they find out you doing something that's building your own arsenal, they almost fire you. He said, be careful. He said the person still wanted to leave because I guess the money was substantial. He said it was not 12 months later that he heard back from that person. And that person literally begged to come back because they had gotten accustomed to being in a culture that's about building, growing, loving on people and celebrating who they are and what they want and what they. There is no financial replacement for that. I have a friend that owns a salon, and I'll actually put her name out there, Stephanie Luster, who's the president for Naked Products, Essations Products, or Clintex Laboratories. There was a young lady, and I won't say her name, but there was a young lady that I knew pretty well. She had come to some of my classes, but this young lady was good friends with the girls that were in her salon. And I told her, she was working at a different salon, but she was always with them, like always. Every time they went on a trip to hair shows, she was always with them. I thought she worked there, actually. The only reason I found out she didn't work there is because I had to meet her at her existing salon to give her some information. And I went to a whole nother salon, and I'm like, well, how long you been working over here? I just knew you worked with them. She said no. So we went on to talk about why she doesn't work there. And I talked to Stephanie, and Stephanie made this comment. She said, I've been trying to get her over here because she does everything with us. She's like one of us, but she doesn't work here. And, she was afraid that because she had came from the city and she had moved around a little bit trying to get back stable, she's worried about her clients. She already moved away from the city out here in the suburb. Anyway, the shorter story is I spent energy on convincing her. Let me tell you something. The environment and the culture that you're in, it is not conducive to your growth. I felt it when I came in the door. I said, they don't care about nothing in here. They're not counterproductive, but they definitely aren't pushing you to be better. I said, you need to go over there. I don't care how much further it is. I told her if it meant she had to start over, if it meant she had to rebuild her clientele, I said, first of all, that's the type of environment they'll share their people. I said, if it meant that you had to do everything over and get yourself in a better environment where people love you and they celebrate your growth, you will find yourself growing exponentially. You won't even be able to keep up with the growth. She was scared for a long time, and she finally made a decision to do it. And she told me, I think a couple months ago, she said it was the best decision she's ever made in her life because she's in a place that celebrates her. They love her. They encourage her. They'll help her grow. They'll share people. Money will never replace that. I'm telling you. Okay. So in creating your strategy, what I want everybody to do, and this is what the book goes into, I want everybody to write for next year alone. I want everybody to write down 5 principles or 5 things they know they want to do to change the trajectory of their personal and professional futures. You can have 2 separate lists, 5 over here for personal, 5 over here for professional. And I want you to write them down. I don't care if it means start, and this is what you got to do. You got to set up things for yourself. If it means I'm in business, so these are one of the things. I must go to minimally 5 business events. They ain't got to be hair events. I don't care. I must go to minimally 5 business events next year. I must. That's kind of personal and professional. I must go to 5 business events. I don't care if it's on real estate, investing, on social media. I don't care what it is. I must. I go online and I find them. I already found my 5. Okay. I must restructure and minimize overhead expenses, okay? On the personal side, I must pay off at least 5 credit cards. Off, not down, off, okay? I must spend more time with my family, even down to I'm a workaholic, even down to when I'm with my family, I will give my family at least X amount of hours a week to spend time with me without my phone, period, for the whole year. In a month, I will make sure that I spend at least 1 day, 2 days, 3, whatever it is. I'm just giving you examples of things that I've done. These are things that you are going to have to put personal side over here, 5 of them, professional side over here. And I don't care what nobody asks you. If somebody talking about something that ain't got nothing to do with these, I want to hear it. I want to hear it. Shut it out. I want to hear it. Talk about that with somebody else. It ain't got nothing. If you have to put it on a card and laminate it, have it in front of you. Ask yourself, if this got anything to do with these things right here? Is it got anything to do with these things over here? Then I ain't interested. I don't even want to talk about it because my attention is going, if my attention goes there, my energy is going to flow there, which means it's going to take me away from these 5 things, period. That's what you got to do. You have got to intentionally, these are some of the things that you do to start setting up and creating strategies for your life, and you got to be laser focused. Now, we know life happens. I get it. You're going to have some stuff that you got to have. That's cool. You handle what you got to handle. You come on back. You just got to, eventually, what will happen is, these will become autopilot for you. They'll become disciplines that you won't even have to think about. They'll become parts of who you are. And every year you come up with 5 more. In managing oneself, you have to make sure that you set up the things that are in the direction that you want to go. You got to do it. It's so easy. When I started coaching y'all, I'm telling you, it's so easy telling other people what to do. It is the easiest thing in the world, telling other people what to do, what not to do. But when you try to manage your own life, when you try to manage yourself and make yourself literally be accountable for actually more than what you're telling other people to do, that's where the real challenge comes in. All right? So that's what I want y'all to do. We're going to pick up tomorrow and we're going to talk about a culture, because I think that's one of the biggest things in our business is that the culture of these salons they're terrible. And they're the reasons why people think we playing. Y'all play a beauty shop. Y'all ain't doing nothing for real. It's the reasons why people don't respect our businesses, because they see businesses that ain't worth respecting. They ain't respecting themselves. They in there doing crazy stuff and not having good work ethics and all this. We're going to talk about that tomorrow, y'all. But I'm Knowledge by Nikki. 1K. I'm out. I will see y'all tomorrow at 9 a.m. People ask me why I choose 9 a.m. I said, because I'm going to be like Oprah. That's my yardstick. Oprah did her show at 9. I'm going to do mine at 9. So I'll see y'all tomorrow. Deuces. Any information you need, go on my website, knowledgebynikki1k.com. Put it in the message box. Anything you need to ask. If you think you want coaching, if you think you need some help, I do all that stuff. So hit me up and I will call you back. There you go. See you tomorrow.